Welcome, one and all, to Widen Your Gaze Fridays. My name is Luc Bouchard, and I'm so appreciative that you've come out and you've joined us today for what I'm really excited about the talk. And I have today Patrick, who is actually my videographer. He's my go-to guy. He makes me look good. He saves my ass on many occasions, and he runs the camera and he has the magic. And I'm quite thrilled that he's agreed to be here today. And one thing about Patrick that I've really encouraging him to do is stop being so flippant humble, because we had a few conversations, and then I figured out he actually is in the our Rogers place is where the Edmonton Oilers play, and he's actually the live cameraman there, and he also does it for our football team, the Edmonton Eskimos. Now, for those of you in the United States, you're going to say, Canadian football sucks compared to American football, and I'll let you keep that thought in
You won't hear me say that, but that's all right.
Yeah, that's right. But I know some of you are thinking it on that. And so Patrick is behind the camera. He has to get it right when he's doing it, and he has produced movies. He has been TV commercials, so he knows his stuff. And I'm going to, without further ado, I'm going to leave it on to Patrick. And if you have, since there's only like half a dozen of us on the call, please unmute your call and unmute if you have questions on that. And this is meant to be interactive. And I just encourage that we turn on your camera and treat this as a networking event. So without further ado, Patrick, it is yours.
Okay, thanks a lot, Luke. Thank you for the opportunity, and I'm glad to see so many people, because you never know when you host an event like this. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let me know what you can all see.
It's coming up now, Patrick. You're good.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. All right. This is kind of aimed towards business owners, but really it's aimed towards anyone who wants to understand video. So I will give you the obligatory, a little about me. I have a film studies degree, about 7 years experience in video production. Currently, and that's in quotes because currently there's nothing going on in my town. But when it is going, I'm in-house with the Oilers, the Oil Kings, which are a junior team. And that's in-house video. So it's when you go to a live sporting event, what's what you're seeing on the Jumbotron. So it's a fan-centered show, a lot of atmosphere, a lot of gameplay, stuff like that. On the off days, I'm shooting marketing videos. Down here you see as a promo I shot for Mercedes-Benz, and then CFL football here, which was actually supposed to start yesterday. So that's wonderful that it didn't. And here's one of my proudest moments here on the ice with undoubtedly the greatest hockey player of our generation. So I am who Luke says I am for the most part. Let's move on. Let's talk about video. Two really important stats here. Everybody see that okay?
Yeah,
you're good.
Great. In 2021, the average person will spend 100 minutes each day watching video content online, and that is raising at a rate of over 30% per year. And let's follow the money. Online video ad spend is rising. It's now equal to 1/3 of what is spent on conventional television ad spend. So, and ad spend on television is shrinking. Okay, and that's a source from Zenith Media. You can look that up, but you may be wondering, well, so what? What does that mean for you? You must have an online video presence for your brand and your business, period. And video is rising, it's growing. It's a must if you're a marketer. Really, if you run a business, if you're in the working world, video needs to be a reality for you. So I'd like to just stop before I go any further and just quickly run down what industries, what sectors do you guys work on? We can go ahead and start with Laura.
Yeah, so if you just unmute your mic and
yes, sorry about that. So just IT consulting, large ERP systems, digital transformations in the corporate world, business world.
Okay, gotcha. Moving up. Luke, I know what you do. I've heard it a million times. How about you, Tom? I'm gonna unmute his mic.
While Tom's doing that, he offers he offers tours in LA on basic foot tours in LA and
cool.
Pedestrian tours.
Oh, well, video would fit right into that in some ways.
Yeah, he's are you with us now, Tom?
I can't hear him. I can him.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Gotcha.
we can.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I'm a tour operator in Los Angeles. I conduct multicultural tours of LA, walking for the most part, but I also have one motor coach tour.
Okay, very cool. And Nick, you're a videographer, so.
Yeah, I just started a couple of years ago. I have like 20 years experience though in putting shows together.
Nice.
And now I want to do corporate video, things like editing, as well as real estate videos, video depositions, corporate safety videos, corporate training videos. So more meat and potatoes compared to the artistic part that you're doing, which I'd be thrilled to do. That'd be so much fun.
Sorry, I just want to make sure I understood you. Video depositions? That's a thing?
Yeah.
I didn't know
that. In the United States, a judge will ask for a video deposition for someone.
They do that now. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you'll come before two lawyers, the defendant and the plaintiff, and the plaintiff will ask questions, and the judge wants to see the response, and they want it documented.
Okay. With your litigious society, I shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
So,
it's a necessary evil.
yeah. Okay, who else needs to weigh in on that? Cindy, have you spoken to?
I haven't.
Okay.
I've been doing videos for quite a while, but I do more about the cruise travel industry as far as where I go to, sail to, but want to add that need to add more expertise in that area too, because I want to take it to a new level. Also, it's something that's very important today as far as marketing and PR. I mean, people want to see the face of the company, the business, that kind of thing. And it's another area I want to really expand into, to be able to offer that to a company business as I look for another position too, while I'm still holding another job, not related to this.
Okay, that's good to know. I think I prepared some stuff that should help you guys. And again, if it starts to run off the rails,
That's my job to make sure it doesn't.
right. I don't think it will either, but you never know. Okay, quickly, what I wanted to go over today, this is not me doing a deep dive on technology. I'm not going to talk about cameras so much. I'll talk a little bit about lights and sound, but you want to buy a camera, there's a million pages on the internet about comparing cameras. So I'm going to focus this on the content and how you produce content for your brand and your business. What styles, what genres of video you can produce, what to consider each time you want to start a new video project, and also an overall strategy, channels for getting your video out there, because that is number one. It's you do not shoot willy-nilly. I mean, I encourage people to shoot willy-nilly, but if you want effective and you want results, you need to know where your video is going to go before you start shooting. And briefly, we can talk about technical considerations, light, sound. Again, if people want to talk more about gear and about like the mechanics, or like Nick said, the meat and potatoes of video, I'd be happy to do that. Like I'm a geek about that stuff too, but I want to try and give you an overall look at how video works as part of a marketing strategy. So as with all business, there's sometimes the want or just the instinct to just subcontract, hire the professional. So you could hire an agency, you could hire a videographer like me or like Nick, or a communications guy like Luke, but of course it's costly and it is time consuming, it's communication intensive. And what I mean by all that is, you may think, oh, I'm just going to subcontract a videographer, I'm going to hire an agency and I'm going to go hands off, but that's not ever the case. You are in dialogue with the creative team from the first day till beyond the last day. So when you undertake a large video product, or a large video project, I should say, be prepared to be sinking your time into it and being in dialogue with those who are doing the work. You could easily just go hands off, but then at the end of the day, whatever is reaped, what you've sowed. That's what you're representing your brand. You have to stay hands on, period. Okay. So one word of advice I would give is, we all get it, and you probably all get it more than me. Budget your time and budget your funds for this new arm of your business. So hope that's making sense. But again, it's an undertaking. It's not something you just flippantly do. it is possible to create video content yourself. And I think that's why you're here. So my strategy here is large transformative moments for your brand, like a grand opening, a rebranding, a major awareness campaign. Maybe you're buying television ad space. That is better left to the professionals. When it comes to simple, honest, and repetitive content, you can produce that. Let's say that again. Simple, honest, repetitive content. Who knows your business better than you?
Right.
Right. This is the phrase you need to learn to live by. If you realize the importance of video and you said, I can do this, I am prepared to create consistently. I am prepared to create consistently. Now, if you want to do a one-off large video, hire an agency, I would encourage it. I would encourage it. You'll get results that way. But what we're talking about is a long-term repetitive strategy to increase visibility and engagement for your business. You have to be consistent. You can be consistently bad. It's better than being inconsistently good, I would almost say. Be prepared to create consistently. You're not making a feature film every 6 months. It's a 30-second, it's a 1-minute clip every day, every 3 days. Sorry, every other day. So again, consistency is the key, and know from the outset, you must know you can do this. There's a lot of crappy content out there. I'm sure you guys can produce better content, especially if you're consistent. The consistency is twofold. Social media algorithms really love consistency, and they favor repetitive posting and a lot of engagement. So there's that. You're gaming the system in a sense, but you're also getting your reps in. You're learning the process: lighting, shooting, editing, distributing, posting, engaging with those that engage with your video. Okay. So again, consistency is the key. Consistency is by far the key. Now, we will touch on the sorts of videos you can make and the styles of videos that are effective and what works for who. But the key for me and what I've seen work is that you have to know where your content is going to live, who the content is for, and what each individual video will accomplish and how it fits into a longer term strategy. Okay, so I should be honest, when we talk about online video presence, we're talking broadly about social media. Now, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube, Vimeo, whatever, you want eyes on your video, you necessarily need a social platform, okay? So when I'm talking about online video presence, I'm talking about video content for social media. So be prepared to wade into that. And for better or for worse, social media is here to stay. So get on board.
I'm just going to ask a question here. Pardon me. Something I've discovered, Patrick, and I'm just wanting you to verify this, is that people think the majority of the work is done once they have a video.
Right.
Would you agree with that? That, oh, I have a video, so all's now.
No, that's a great question. And like, that was one of the first things we talked about when we met that day at the buffet or whatever. Yeah. It's great to have that product, but then you can just throw it on the graveyard of some page on your website and no one ever sees it. It's a tool. It's something that you push. You have to push it across channels, and you have to be willing to keep updating that video content, and you have to be willing to engage with the people that are engaging with you. And I would actually say that one single video is useless nowadays. It's about serial, repetitive content. That's not to say that one great video is not worth your time, but I think, like I said, serial, repetitive content is what's gonna.
Right, because something going viral is almost non-existent with the amount of, I know things go viral, but for the amount of content that's put up every minute or every hour, something to go viral, that's so out there. So, and I think that's what people often mistake, is they think, oh, I want my video to go viral, and going, good flipping luck.
Yeah, good flipping luck. I mean, go for it. We did a video for a car dealership one time where the two halves of the staff divided into teams. They played a baseball game. The losing captain had to be smacked across the face with a giant fish by the winning captain. That was great, but it was for one day, and then everybody forgot about it. But they got that visibility for one day, right? So I'd like to adhere to my Canadian roots here and mention Marshall McLuhan and his quote, "The medium is the message." And well, does anybody know what that means and why I might be going here?
Yes. Yeah, no, no, whatever you're trying to get out, it's most effectively conveyed by the medium that you use and who it's destined for and how often and all these other criteria that go into getting the message out.
I was going to add also the medium, many years ago was newspaper, television. That media in 2020 is now video and other forms.
Right.
Damn straight.
And didn't he do a cameo in Woody Allen's Annie Hall?
Yes, he did.
That was
Yes,
the
he
movie
did.
scene, the theater scene.
That was hysterical.
I gotta check that out.
It was great. Woody Allen poses to the side after Marshall McLuhan interrupts the conversation. He goes, "Don't you wish you could do this in real life?" And it's just so funny.
That's great. I wanted to write that down, but I don't have the pen, but I'll remember.
It's
And-
videotaped. It's videotaped.
Oh, there you go. Right. So when I'm watching this later, yeah. Okay. So yeah, you guys get it. I don't need to explain it, but we're talking about the medium nowadays. Every social media channel functions differently. Your Twitter, your Instagram, your TikTok, your Snapchat, they all, they're a different medium and video behaves differently. The messaging, the content, the info comes across differently on each platform. That's the point I wanted to make. Okay. My overall recommendation would be to choose first a YouTube or a Vimeo as a place to broadly just house your videos. And what I mean is just any video content you make, drive it to one of these two. It doesn't need to be your central channel, but personally, I think it's great to have a channel where everything you've made exists. It's organized in the playlist. It's organized by however you want to organize it. And it's easily accessible. It's easily shareable. I still consider, I don't know about you guys, but by definition, YouTube and Vimeo are still social media, right? It's media being shared. But I mean, just quickly, some of the numbers for YouTube are mind-boggling. 2 billion monthly users.
Yeah.
500 hours.
That's amazing.
500 hours of video uploaded every minute. I don't know how that's mathematically possible, but it is. 70% of what people watch on YouTube is recommended to them by the algorithm. And so here we are talking about algorithms again. It's an AI system essentially that's feeding people their content. You want to understand how those, and I'm not here to be an expert on that, but you need to, when you pick your platform, do a deep dive on how that algorithm privileges content and how can you get into that rolling, churning mass of content and get your stuff thrown up on the beach, so to speak. There are differences between YouTube and Vimeo. I don't know if that's really necessary to talk about. Broadly, YouTube is huge. It's a great cross-section of society. You're going to get a lot of evil content, evil comments, I should say. Don't read the YouTube comments, right? Vimeo is more of like a craft brewery of video hosting. It's much smaller. The content is probably more favored towards creatives, but there's also paid levels to Vimeo, which may be good for collaboration and business. There's no ads on Vimeo either. So, but that said, on YouTube, you can monetize your content by using advertising. So again, my first step for you guys would be to if you don't already, pick one, start a YouTube channel or a Vimeo channel and just have that be your home base for your video content cache. So do you guys already run YouTube channels or?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I have my content on there as well.
Okay, awesome.
A question,
Question?
Patrick?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead, Cindy, ask your question, and then
Yes,
we'll
I
get
have
to Laura's
I
question.
have a YouTube platform, but I switched over as far as my website, switched to Vidyard.
Vineyard?
Vidyard.
Okay, never heard of it.
They're in Canada.
Okay, wow. How do you spell it?
Vidyard.
Okay.
They're really good. I ran across them a couple years ago, and they have something called Go Video.
Okay.
You can download the app, and they can create short videos. And the videos you create, in my case, I use them to reach out to people because the videos you create, you save them. I keep them under a minute, and they're embedded into the email itself,
Nice.
which is great.
Because you see, that's one point here. as a place just to host your videos. And then, yeah, if you do run an email list or whatever, it's an easy way to embed. But what you're talking about sounds great. What else about it do you like?
Well, people can, it's funny. I was just sent 2 videos to 2 different gentlemen that were stepping down from cruise lines, executives that I know.
Mhm.
I filmed some short things. One was going to retire. He's been with the industry 30 some years and was president of Seabourn. I've known Rick for years. So what I did was he was going to be retiring end of May. So what I did was I shot a short, quick, fun video that I sent to him. And within 10 minutes, he get back to me and says, Cindy, wow, this is great. Thank you so much. Let's keep in touch. But I did a fun twist because I held up to 7 because it was 7 days before he's going to be stepping down. Plus I said, by the way, Rick, if you get really, really bored, I know you know a lot about sailing, but I held up a captain's hat. I said, you could maybe become captain of a ship. I did something really kind of fun with it too.
Nice.
But it gets embedded in the email itself, which I like. So I started using that about 1.5 years ago. And then I also just switched over to Vidyard for their platform to host my other videos, to link them into my website.
Right on. So I like the idea of the integration. It sounds like it's highly shareable, really easy to, because that's what it's about. That's what we're talking about here today, is getting your content out there. So if that works for you, keep it up, I say. I don't want to dive into a bunch of stuff that really is inconsequential or that you couldn't find better information on, but be aware that there are multiple social media platforms. You've all heard of these, and they all serve, like we said, the medium is the message. They all serve their users in a different way, and they convey information in a different way. But there's some interesting stats here to note, especially on LinkedIn. I was surprised to learn this, that a LinkedIn user is 20 times more likely to share a video post than any other. So video has a way of being viral on LinkedIn. And I'm pretty green on LinkedIn. Maybe Luke could speak to that. But do you see LinkedIn as a viable platform for video content, Luke?
Yeah, absolutely. Because further to one of your, you gave some quotes earlier about content or consumption. I know that 2 years ago, Cisco Systems was saying that 85% of the content consumed on the internet will be videos in the United States. 80% in Canada, 85% in the United States. So we're going there, and one more medium that you can give people to get your content is always going to be good. If on that. And the other thing too is, this is the other lens I put on, is that if your competition has video presence and you don't, you're behind the 8 ball.
Sure.
If you have a video presence and they don't, you're ahead of them. But make no mistake, it's just a matter of time before video is going to be something as common as websites.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And broadly, online video, and in many forms. Okay. One delineation I would want to make is that you can have a platform that functions as a video platform first. That's your YouTube, your Vimeo, to some extent Facebook. You know, if you have a business page for your Facebook, you should have a video gallery. It doesn't matter what you're posting, but get the videos going. Something like TikTok, something like Snapchat, Instagram to an extent, they are a platform that is great for video, but best served, I would say, from what I've heard and seen a little bit, to drive traffic from them to your other channels, driving them to your website, driving them to your email list. So when you choose a platform, be aware of how it functions, as far as, is this where I'm meeting my customers? Is this where I'm making sales? Or is this just where I'm showing off what I am? And I want to drive, warm leads, so to speak, to a place where the real transaction starts.
So said differently, what you're talking about, it's part of your strategy for your sales funnel.
100%. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. I'm not here to teach you how to make feature films.
Right.
I'm here we're adding a support or a marketing effort to start reeling in interested clients, people that have problems that you can help solve.
Got another question, Patrick?
Sure. Yeah.
Laura, do you want to ask your question, or just want me to read it off of?
Well, my concern is this, because I'm a consumer of information. So I consume volumes of information much quicker than most people would. And I'm going to just put it out there that most of the content just sucks. I'm
Right.
serious. And and in the words of Luke, it's not relevant. Oftentimes it's not distilled, it's not succinct, it's not useful. There's no tips or tricks. It really doesn't solve any solution other than wasting my time. And now I have to go and search for something else.
Sure, sure. And you're talking about when you go through your social media feeds, you're seeing that kind of crap that you don't want to see.
No, so I'm one of these people who will throw out a really large net. And I'm very discriminating on what content I will sift through once I throw that net out. So I can find information that most people can't find, and I can find it really quickly because I know how to make it percolate to the top. So even when I'm looking for something that's going to be really useful, oftentimes I can't find it until I pick out that really specific linguistic term. So every industry has its own dictionary, its own repository. And if you don't know it, it really makes it difficult to get at the source of what you're looking for.
I would agree. I would agree. I would also say that, well, can you maybe talk to me specifically about where this process is happening for you? Where is it that you're sifting through all this? You're talking about video content, so.
Okay, so here's the thing. When I sift, I will sift in news, I will sift in video, I will sift in blogs. So I'm like I said, I'm throwing out a fairly wide net, because even on those blogs will be video content. Even in some of those PDFs, some of those electronic PDFs will be embedded videos. So it's, yeah.
I just do want to ask one question, and
I like what you're saying. I do.
Yeah. What I've discovered is, and there's no stats on, like, there's no actual stats. I'm just pulling this out of the air, but I estimate there's somewhere between 5 and 10% of the population that does not like watching videos because they don't want to be stuck in the time. They don't want to be, and I'm just wondering, Laura, are you one of those people that you'd rather read than watch a video?
No, I will watch a video, and I have shared really great video content on LinkedIn. And it's definitely worth the 15 minutes that I'm sitting down and watching it. There's a wealth of information. It's very condensed information. So it's rapid fire, right? Because I create videos for corporations for training, and seriously, we have to distill it and make it palatable in like less than 7 minutes. And so it's called micro learning is what it is. So I'm looking for micro bursts of information. I don't want to sit there and listen to 10 minutes of hi, how are you? And
Yeah, oh, I hear you. I mean, I'm not here to tell you that, I mean, there's a ton of crap out there, period. I mean, the internet is a pretty much one-to-one representation of our world. So there's more bad than good. There's more uselessness. There's more, I mean, capitalism, advertising, we can have that discussion about the unending mountain of content that has become our world. What I would say is that you need to still, I mean, we don't have to have, I mean, we can have that discussion. What I would offer instead would just be ways to honestly represent your business to the people who already know about it. Video does not take the place of a real human relation, if I could add that. So,
Laura, you also had a question about converting the transcribing. Did you want to ask that?
Yes. So I can't remember who it was who did the video dispositions, but with video, I often sometimes will look for a transcript of
Right.
what was said, because within that video, there'll be nuggets of information. And so Nick, I'm sure the judge would want to see not only the video, but also the transcribed text.
Right, and that's why there's court reporters that are involved in the process. So there's paralegals, I guess, or court reporters that are also taking dictation as the deposition is going on. So there is visual as well as written documentation
Okay.
to that event.
So you're not using software to transcribe the narrative. Because I understood court reporting had pretty much disappeared. We even here in Canada, we don't see as many court reporters. I don't even think we provide education anymore. I'd have to really search that one out, but I just remember it.
Waning and going down. Yeah. You also got on mute there for a second, Laura. So, yeah.
In my experience, there's no AI, there's no program that will accurately transcribe something in a way that's not going to leave you almost with a bigger mess. I spent a fair bit of my early career transcribing documentary interviews, and they were willing to pay for that service to get the real human touch on those.
I'm using something called Rev, and they boast a 95% accuracy rate, but you still have to go over it to make sure. And it works out to be $1 US a minute for those transcriptions.
Absolutely, because even Dragonly speaking or Dragon naturally
software, yes.
Yeah, the software. There's lots of software out there. You can't just rely on it, but it speeds up the time of transcription of someone else transcribing it, and so it's called a rapid transcription because you're using technology. And then yes, you do need to have the human side. Any technology out there, needs the human side.
Absolutely.
Cool. So just to check in on our time, Patrick, we're at 23 minutes to the hour, so you're about halfway through.
Okay.
No, you've gone halfway. You're about half hour in, and just to give you that time check.
Sure. Thanks, Luke.
Quick question.
Yeah.
As far as getting a video on LinkedIn.
Say again.
As far as getting a video on LinkedIn, they have a separate platform. Because I've tried it before, struggled. So.
I don't believe so, but I just got on LinkedIn recently, so it's not my area of expertise.
So Cindy, the LinkedIn, this is my understanding, and Roberto, I know you're on the call here, so maybe you want to join us because you're a resident LinkedIn expert. But LinkedIn, when I upload my videos or when I upload videos to it, it's housed within my PowerPoint. It's housed within my computer. It's not. I don't bring it to. I don't. Draw it from YouTube. I actually upload it right to YouTube. Sorry, I upload it right to LinkedIn. And I think the main reason for that is LinkedIn doesn't want you leaving their platform. They want you to stay there on that. So Roberto, do you have any comments on that, or are you ghosting us today?
I got a quick question on that.
Okay.
Is there a time limit for LinkedIn? Are the videos limited to an hour or half hour?
Actually, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Roberto.
Hey, Roberto.
How are you, everyone? I see some familiar faces here. Thank you for connecting on LinkedIn with me.
That was a great presentation the other day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Although I have to say, Patrick, this is a very polished presentation, my man. So I have to congratulate you already in advance. You look great, by the way. And look, you have very much summarized that. You can post videos. Actually, it's something I need to do for my platform, and I will share often here, guys, for the nature of sharing and expanding the good news and good information. For every classification that I have, I discovered that I can upload media with the pictures and videos for every single category. For instance, if I have 20 years of experience and 2 years in this company, 5 years in this other company, 5 years in another other company, you can upload those videos. So to summarize, it is better, LinkedIn, as Luke said, it is better that you upload the videos directly from your computer to LinkedIn because it's organic, and then LinkedIn loves that. LinkedIn, you have more chances to promote your videos that way, and for LinkedIn to use the algorithm if you do it organically. But you can also upload it from your YouTube or Vimeo if you want to create traffic that way, but the traffic and also the engagement on LinkedIn would be less. Now, there is no limit on the,
actually,
as far as I know.
Laura had just found a link saying that 10 minutes don't exceed 10 minutes. LinkedIn considers 10 minutes the information cutoff point video.
Okay, well, thank you, Laura. We appreciate that.
Trust Laura to come up with this instant facts. Thanks, Roberto. Patrick, do you want to?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Roberto.
Can you? Yeah.
Thank you, Laura, for that info. That's good to know.
Guys. Thank you. Thank you, Laura.
Okay. One point I would make, if you are just beginning with video content, is just choose one platform and hammer it. That's what I say. That's what you should start to say. By that, I mean, like I said, choose your YouTube, choose your Vimeo, have that be your storehouse. Then go ahead, choose that secondary platform, whether it's Instagram, whether it is, maybe you just want to increase your video presence on LinkedIn. Hell, maybe you want to be that guy that starts his TikTok profile, even though you're too old to be on TikTok. But again, use TikTok to short clips about your life and drive that traffic elsewhere. But again, it's about visibility. And yes, you are going to be creating some, maybe, I don't know if superfluous is the right word, or useless, or you're just throwing more shit onto the mountain, so to speak. But get those reps in about creating content and you'll find out what works. Once you've chosen your platform, this is stuff people know. Create an account, follow and engage with relevant content you like. Follow your competitors, follow your peers, follow your customers, follow people you know personally, and just start driving out the content. It's more about practice than anything. You want to say something, Nick? Yeah. Give her.
I was muted a moment ago. I also want to recommend, throw in there that YouTube is a valued storehouse of business information. You want to know about LinkedIn? Not only does Roberto, an excellent resource, but there's also video content out there on every topic. Snapchat, Pinterest, whatever it is, somebody's made a ton of videos about them.
Great point. Yeah, I don't mean to just say that YouTube is only one thing. It's like the summation of the world's knowledge is also there too. So don't be.
Well, yeah, and I think Nick makes a really good point, because I don't know when the tipping point for me was when I all of a sudden was referring to YouTube for tutorials. I know there was a point when I didn't think of it, and then I think it's when I had to put on my battery for my tent trailer, and I didn't know which pole to use and whatnot, so I went to that. But yeah, Nick, that's an excellent point, is that it is a storehouse of information, and if you want to learn about anything.
Just a quick comedy note. Anyone who's been watching the show Ozark, if you don't want me to spoil anything, just let me know right now. But my wife and I watched it. We binged on it, and we're all done the 30 episodes. And there's a hilarious moment in the show where YouTube is used to learn how to do something, and I won't go there beyond that.
I can only guess.
Yeah,
it's just hysterical, though. And anyhow, it's a great show. But anyhow, I thought I'd throw that.
Case in point. The case in point.
Yeah.
I don't need to give you guys a lesson on how to use social media, so I'm going to zip ahead a little bit. You do want to get to know your followers just like you know your customers. And there's some questions you should be asking yourself. What kind of content do they want? What kind of content do they already engage with? What problems do they have? How can you help? And can you convert them? I'm no business expert. I'm sure there's a combined business acumen that would rival anybody in this conversation. I'm not contributing to it. But what I can tell you is that social media should be treated honestly. And I know that sounds crazy because it's not an honest place, but get to know who is following you, who is watching your content, and what would they like to see more of. Talk to these people directly. I mean, the Russian sex bots, don't talk to them. But the real people, engage with them, talk to them. Why'd you like that? Or what, have a conversation. That's all it really is. It's another arm for relationship building, and video is kind of your foot in the door to start building those relationships. So just
right. And just something I want to add to that is if people are taking the time to engage you in your videos, the fastest way to lose them is ignore them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Go thank them for their engagement, ask them a question about the video, then go to their page, engage with some of their content, engage honestly. Hey, love this picture, looks like fun. It may feel fake. It may feel like some kind of, but again, the algorithm, we're gaming the system here. Engage, get that ball rolling, build that network, let the app, let the AI know that you are a player in that system. So again, be consistent. We haven't necessarily touched too much on the what yet, but know where your content's going to go and know who it's catered towards. And you won't know who right off the bat, but you'll come to learn who as you start rolling out content. Engagement is key both ways. You want engagement on your videos, so they may end with a call to action, right? Ask for people to comment. Ask, like, it's almost tired and old now, like, follow, share for more, but you got to do it. Even a call to action, if you have a brick and mortar business or you have a service-based business, ask at the end, hey, come down and see us. Mention this video, XYZ. Maybe there's a special offer there. Or followers of my page get, you know what I'm saying here, guys. Like,
yeah, and I'm just gonna, and the thing that what I've come to believe is that we need to tell people what to do. We need to tell them the next step, because they're gonna, if the next step is what's the next video, that's where they're gonna go. And yeah, so that call to action, something, stay tuned for my next video, like, subscribe, down, that all stuff is standard, but the call to action, people need to be told what to do. Go ahead, Patrick, sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem, that's good. Thank you for saying it directly. It's just tell the people what to do. That's what video is. Video is not anything different than what you're already doing with your existing marketing. And have fun, damn it. If you're not having fun, it's just added stress. If it's just, you know what? Because here's a point I could make. If there's a budget in your life or in your business for video production, you could hire a freelancer who already owns gear, and you could underpay them, like all creatives are underpaid. Point being, you need video, you need to budget for it. There's different ways to go about that. But again, if you're not having fun, I would say don't bother. Okay, we're going to move on to the production phase of video. And hopefully now we're going to be getting towards something that you guys would like to know more about. This is a shot from about 2 years ago when I was shooting an indie film right here in Edmonton that's nearly being done in the post-production phase. So if we do connect on LinkedIn, I would love to share with you guys when it's out and when it'll be available. But again, we're always asking where, who, and what. We know where at this point, or at least you know how to start thinking about where. What channel am I going to use? How am I getting that video out there? And again, we've talked about too, who you're going to have to start meeting your customers, meet your followers, see what it is that they like. And I should say, find the people that engage with you and go see what else they engage with. What hashtags are they using? Who do they follow? What pages what interests them? I mean, this is not anything new. It's the same thing as knowing your customer is knowing your follower. And again, keep engaging with them, keep asking them, make it a real relationship. Again, what you're likely going to have in your follower base as it grows is a mixture of the dreaded friends and family who give you the pity likes, existing lifetime customers, prospects. Your competitors are going to follow you if you start making waves. And there are people that follow you because they have no idea what the hell you even do. Okay, the key there to understanding the cross-section of your following is that you can't please all of them at once with any one video. Okay, let's get that straight. You cannot make a video that will please anyone or everyone. And if you do, let me know.
Also, and back to your comment earlier, and Lori, I do see you have a lot of questions here, so we're going to get you to ask some of those. But also know that if opinions, and I'm going to swear here, so I apologize if I offend. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one, and everyone is, and people are absolutely, they have no problem trashing you on the internet. And why do they do that? Because of anonymity, because they can hide, because they don't have to look at you in your face. So developing a thick skin about your content is really, really important. In my Udemy channel, I had 2 guys within 1 week. It kind of felt like they knew each other, saying, "You're the worst person on video. Don't create any more videos. You reminded me of my high school teacher." It was just a total character assassination. And did it hurt? Yeah, but and how did I respond? I had to have a very measured response, because I didn't want to alienate all the other people that'd be seeing that. So it's not a fair platform, but you have to expect if you're going to do that. And yeah, Lori, did you want to ask some of your questions or?
Can we wait until he finishes? I'm
Yeah.
just holding them. So hold off.
Okay.
I'm just so that I don't forget.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay. Okay, so let's maybe now talk specifically about the kinds of content you can create. I think you've been wondering, when's he going to get to this? What is content? Content is a story. Use your content to tell your story. There's a lot of different avenues you can go down, and you may be sitting there thinking, I don't even know where to start. Here would be my recommendation. One, start just shooting willy-nilly. Like, it doesn't really matter what it is because no one's going to see it at first anyway. Have your first major video piece be a brand awareness or a brand messaging piece. Why do I say this? Because when you start delving into what a brand awareness or branding video broadly might be, you're forced to look inward on your business again, if you haven't lately, and start asking those questions that you should have been asking all the way along. What do I stand for? Who am I helping? What is my offer? Why am I unique? All that stuff. You then need to start building a video script based on that. But what I would say is that this is an opportunity for you to slow down and recap what it is that your business and your brand even are. And if you can't do that, and you can't create a video script, or at least a video idea, well, that's a different webinar that Luke hosts.
Then you need Luke.
There you go. There you go. Now, these brand awareness and messaging pieces are usually, they're longer. They can be, they appeal to emotion. They don't really make any sales or any sort of offer directly. It's really just about, again, presenting the problem that you solve or the customer base that you aim to help, or that niche that you fill. It's who are you? Who are you? Then conversely, there's something that's a little bit more timely, a little less evergreen, a sales video or an offers video. You know, I've done a lot of car dealership videos. I'll just say that. So you can crucify me now, but car dealerships, that's all it ever is. It's offers, it's sales. So don't be afraid to just put it out there. What is it that you offer? What is it that is so special about this offer?
And I'm going to say one of the best car commercials I ever saw is something that Patrick produced, when it was for "Get the truck out of here."
Get the truck out of here.
Get the truck out of here, right? So they're talking and having all the staff saying, "Get that truck out of here," and I think it was very funny.
We ran that on TV, and the station was getting calls from people saying, "I have kids, I have my grandmother in the house. How can you run this commercial at 10 in the morning?" But we laughed all the way to, well, I didn't, but they laughed all the way to the bank on that one, because that's great publicity, man. Those trucks were gone. So that's what they told me anyway. We did a sequel, actually, Get the Truck Out of Here Again. So again, don't be afraid to be cheesy. I know, Laura, what you were talking about earlier, and I keep thinking about that, is like, yeah, there's a lot of BS out there, but don't be afraid to contribute to it, at least once you get started, to help you get started, get those reps in.
And the other thing I want to share too, also, or just to add in there, is Patrick saying about, when you first start shooting content, all you're wasting is electricity and memory. That's all you're wasting. So you have to get acclimatized being on camera, and you make the decision, not anyone else, when you want to release that. So if you're shooting content, the point is to get acclimatized, get used to shooting content, develop that muscle memory, so that when you're shooting content, you're not freaked out about everything. Yeah. And that's how you start getting your confidence, is by practice. So just want to throw that in there.
Totally. And I hope that point comes across, is that you have to get your reps in just the same as anything else. So yeah. Okay, one style of video that really has a lot of success on social channels is what I would call BTS, or behind the scenes, or sort of fly on the wall look at what goes on in your business. And again, you may not have the personality for this, but this is a chance for you to bring potential customers, viewers, followers into your business in real time. Hey guys, it's Monday morning. Joe brought the donuts. We got coffee. We're here. We're open. It's tax season. Bring it in. Let's get going. We're going to get you out the door. We're going to save you money. It feels salesy, but bring us into your office. Show us your team. Show us what you do. Show us that dynamic between your guys. I mean, again, what we're trying to do is represent you. And I like video. I like cinema. That's where I came from, because it's as close to a one-to-one representation until, virtual reality becomes widespread. Take us in. We're sitting in our house, but we're actually sitting in your business, talking to you, meeting you. Bring us in. Show us what's going on behind the counter, or out in the yard, or who's packing orders. You know, have a little fun with it. Make your team members, or make yourself a character. Make yourself out to be someone that people would want to meet.
And also with that, what I love about that strategy, Patrick, is you're making yourself relatable to the average person.
100%. You're not above.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You're demystifying who you are by saying, yeah, this is my day. And guess what? I do put my pants on one leg at a time. I know I'm the only person in the world that you know, that kind of tongue in cheek with it.
100%, 100%. And that works well shorter form stuff like TikTok or your Instagram stories, where, I mean, a great one that I often see is, let's say you're going on some sort of journey. Maybe you're driving around, you do sales calls, or you're out in the field, you're a surveyor, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Take the viewer with you on that trip using serial repetitive content on your Instagram story. Do a Facebook Live. I mean, it may seem ridiculous, but you asked how to use video in your business, so I'm telling you. Bring us along for the ride, even if it's accounting. It's interesting to somebody. If not that, or second to that, something that I've seen a lot of success with also is like an informational, and this is some of the stuff, Laura, I think you're talking about sifting through, is this free value, top of the funnel kind of stuff. Let's say you're a car mechanic. Give us a quick primer on how to change the serpentine belt, and then say, but if you want it done right, or you need a full overhaul, you come see Hank at Hank's Garage, stuff like that. Don't be afraid to give away some of what you would sell. Give it away for free via the video. Make it feel exclusive. Hey, only my followers see this. Only my trusted followers see this. And you know, if you're doing it on a timely format, such as the Snapchat or the Instagram story, it feels really exclusive. It's like, hey, I caught that. He gave me that for free. I was there and I caught it. So does that make sense? That makes sense, giving away a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about that. Is in this day and age, especially in COVID-19, you can see a Metropolitan Theater play for free. You can see these performances. These actors are on Broadway's giving away free, and so people expect a freebie. People expect content and whatnot. And there are some people out there, and I firmly believe this, is you give away your best content, and then and say to them, hey, if you like that, I have more. Yep. But you bring value, you bring value. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I think what Laura was talking about is, it's when people are not bringing value that you're wasting people's time. Right. Because there's one commodity you're asking people to pay when it comes to watching your video. Anyone want to guess what that commodity is? Right.
Time.
Yep. Yeah. You're paying that.
Most expensive commodity.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not making any more of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no kidding.
I
want, if I may, I want to add a quick comment, if I may.
Sorry, no, muting Roberto.
May I?
You're an alumnus of the Widen Your Gaze. Of course you can.
Thank you. I don't know how relevant this is for comparison, because I know we're talking about videos and about giving value, and as you say, people want something for like a freebies, right? Mm-hmm. But I remember one of the coolest concerts that I attended, which was Coldplay, and the surprise factor. So I remember there was Viva La Vida, and we didn't know we would have bracelets. And so we came to the concert, we scanned the ticket, and they gave us different bracelets. And we didn't know what the bracelets were for. So we wore the bracelets, we were asked to wear the bracelets. So when the concert was starting, the lights went off and your bracelet started synchronized, and everyone light up. And that's so cool. I still had that bracelet with me because the experience was so personal that it was a surprise factor too, that I still remember that day. And so with that, I just want to contribute that the challenge for me, for instance, is to build videos that I add the value, but also that will be memorable. How can we do that, Patrick? How can we ensure that we do our best to contribute and to bring value, but at the same time to be memorable?
That's a cool story. And when we opened up Rogers Place here in Edmonton, the first Oilers home game, we had those bracelets also, and they sync with the music or whatever. It's unlike anything you've ever seen, really.
Yeah.
To your question about creating what I would say would be just to be honest, because like I've been saying, the video is not doing anything that you're not already doing. It's a representation of what you do. So you know your business. You know what you offer better than anybody. You know what you do that nobody else does. You have to hammer that. And beyond that, I couldn't really say. But I mean, honesty, this day and age seems strange to say, but honesty, I think, is the best policy. Put yourself, your uniqueness front and center. And if you have to be cheesy, if you have to be outrageous, if you have to be ridiculous, if you have to be vulgar, if you have to be upfront and mean and nasty, I would find that personality and bring that.
But be true and be honest to who you are and be consistent, because that's what people are going to engage with, is the authenticity.
Right. What else are you going to do? I mean, I'd love to hear anybody else's answer. How do you shock and surprise in today's day and age without going to jail?
All right.
Good question. I'm mindful of the time, and maybe we can revisit that question, but you have about 20 minutes to before we're done here, Patrick. So
okay.
We'll get you to continue. And
sure. I'll quickly just finish off with two more points. And this is huge today, especially is the live stream video, or offering your services 100% digitally. And you can do that through a paywall. That's essentially, I think, Luke, you do some of that where you're offering coaching through Zoom that is paid, for instance.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had great, I'll just zip ahead to an image here. We had great success doing a series of instructional videos with a Taekwondo school. And once the COVID pandemic hit, we actually gave them the gear. They shot the videos and I edited them. So the students were able to keep up with their workouts. And he was still hauling in new clients. So that, just to give you an idea of what, if it's possible for your business to offer exactly what you would offer normally, just mediated through live video. And again, if you're doing a longer form video, don't be afraid to tease it with short clips on your other channels, whether that's Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Again, or you can even, don't be afraid that if you have that long piece that you want to wait on, tease it, short clips, behind the scenes clips shot on your phone of when it was being produced, Okay, but the bottom line is it starts with the script, and that's just that's a written plan. Doesn't have to be a script like what you see here. This is a page from Pulp Fiction. Yeah, again, the script is all. When I've had the most success creating videos, it's because we all agreed on a script before we started talking about anything visual. What was the story? Please, for the love of God, write a script. If you take nothing else away from this, actually, I would say that's it. Write a script.
Well, and the other thing too is that it's going back to that statement, failing to plan is planning to fail. And I don't think there's anything truer in video production because you have so many moving parts working together. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have that overarching view of what you're trying to accomplish, starting with the end result in mind, how is it going to be anything but a dog's breakfast?
100%. And your script can be however you want. Your script can include, where is this going to go? Who's going to watch it? And once you get those ideas rolling, I mean, it's hard to stop. I mean, not everybody functions that way as a writer, but it doesn't have to be. You could be a storyboard kind of guy. Maybe you like to draw. I personally don't. I write. Or you could talk a voice memo into your phone. I would like this video too, and just go, and then listen back to it. I mean, it's what Luke said. Plan the damn thing.
Yeah.
Be ready to know where this is going to go before it's even begun.
And be intentional, because that's what you're saying is be intentional.
Be intentional.
Yep.
Right. All right.
And I think in the future there should be video instructions like this regarding creating content and/or trying to drive traffic or get customers. I think there's a difference there.
There's a huge difference. They're different disciplines. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But in a way they mirror one another in that you attract. No, that's a good point. Creating content versus creating customers.
Yeah. like for me, I don't want something to say media productions to have a TV show, but I want to create videos that draw people to my business. And you know, using, you know, the mindset that I want to put out content, good content that people will follow. And you know, and that's where we live in this day and age, is you actually want to follow the companies that you want to purchase from.
Yes.
And so those kinds of, I guess that's what I'm trying to focus myself.
Sure. Yep. And I apologize if that's not
No,
answered here, but I think you make a great point. It's like, but
you did great.
awesome. Thank you. My response again would be to be honest and just portray what it is you do, because there's 100,000 people that don't care, and there's the one person that does, and that's the person that's going to follow you. Okay, I had planned to talk a little bit. Do you guys want me to talk about equipment, cameras, lights, microphones? Does that matter?
How much value will that be for people if you guys just want to put into the chat box or turn off your? Okay, so if Laura says yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laura says, well, anyone else? They're an open book, Patrick. You go.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, Patrick, is because I'm very budget conscious, and you can go all the way from something that you'll get that will break all the way up to a $5,000 piece of equipment. And so when I do my research, I could research over 100 reviews, and then from there decide on what I'm going to choose. And I use different features when I'm researching, you know, because everyone, like all of this equipment has different features, and it depends on how, do you want the Volkswagen version or do you want the Learjet version?
Well, again, it goes down to budget, right? Like you said, I didn't prepare a slide about cameras because there is so much information on the internet about cameras. If you want to talk about cameras with me, I will talk about cameras all day long. But to me, the most important factor in video production is light. Okay, it is light. Video is photography. Photography is light. Okay, so consider investing in some lights. If you're doing like a sit down, like what I'm doing right now, I'm being lit by 2 lights that are off screen. If you're doing more run and gun, obviously lights aren't a big issue, but if you're going to have a scene or it's you speaking to the camera, you have to light it. And there's plenty of information about how to light a scene, what lights you want. One thing I would say, color rendering index. Do not go to Home Depot and buy white work lights, because it's not white light, it's green light. Go and buy high quality video lights, and there's plenty on Amazon that are affordable, or you can go to your local store and they'll sell them to you. White light is what you want. Okay, now here's a shot from that indie film again, where we've got blue gels on our lights for a certain look. But just to jump back to equipment considerations, here's a point. You all have a high powered video production machine in your hands right now, or on your desk. Yeah, you can do it with your phone, and you can start with your phone. I would actually recommend that you start with your phone. You can't necessarily create award-winning professional content with a phone if you just started. Some people can. But there's a trend, and you see it a lot in stream ads on Facebook or on Instagram or influencers, of what we call UGC. That's user-generated content. That's content that looks like it was created by you and me. Well, maybe not me, but people that don't make video for a living. Okay, so don't be afraid to start with your phone. Just light the damn thing. Don't go shooting in the dark. Now there's apps that you can get. There's one called Filmic Pro, which unleashes the power of the sensor, and you're gonna get as good a picture quality as you can, no compression, but again, it starts with light. Here's a couple shots from a short film, might be a feature film called Tangerine. Looks pretty gritty, but they shot the whole thing on iPhones. So I check that out if you are looking for something to watch. I can't speak to the content. It's pretty gritty stuff. But
the point here is that this is the world we live in now,
yeah,
where this is seen as, this is not seen as amateurish. This is seen as avant-garde.
And it's actually, it goes to what we were talking about earlier with the honesty. You know, it's like you're not out there whipping out your big camera, creating these highly polished pieces. You're taking us with you, giving us a one-to-one look at your business and your life in a way that feels not unlike what I do day to day as a consumer. So don't be afraid to start with the phone. Deciding where I'd like to go. Here's a good.
You've got a good 10 minutes, so
Okay,
you're good.
cool. The audience will accept bad pictures. Bottom line, they will not accept bad sound.
Really?
Believe it or not.
Do we want to talk about our first conversation we had about what my expectation with you as my videographer?
Absolutely. He sat me down, he put his hands on my shoulder, and he screamed, "Do not fuck up the sound." So.
I remember it differently. It was this. I think I said, I will crucify you if we don't have good sound.
Right.
Because light is absolutely important. I agree, and it has to be well lit. And if no one can hear it, it doesn't matter if it's well lit.
100%.
Yeah.
The nice thing about video, you can also strip the audio out and make a podcast out of whatever you're talking about.
So true.
Damn right. So you better get the audio clean. Speaking of podcasts, okay, so when we want to talk, if you were to invest in anything, invest in a microphone. There's numerous styles, but what you're seeing here in the red circle is called the lavalier or lapel mic. I'm sure you guys know this, but it's for close recording and dialogue. It's great if you're doing interviews or you're sitting, or maybe you're following a subject around. Or if you're doing something that's more contained, you can use a condenser, like a shotgun style microphone that you see every day on the Joe Rogan show, or name one of the other million podcasts in the world, right? Again, is there anything specific about sound you'd like to know?
Well, would you, please contradict me if you see it differently, but what I say to people is my general rule is the further you are away from your microphone, the worse the sound's going to be.
Yeah, to a point. I mean, there's a sweet spot, and you should know. I mean, and mics are built differently, but yeah, in a sense, a mic is like a lens in that the closer you are, right? Like, right. All mics have different ranges, of course. And again, this is getting out of my real expertise, but just know that there's plenty of options. There's plenty of information. Know what you're wanting to do before you go purchasing
I
equipment.
have a question about microphones, and this is an actual authentic question, is that talk to me. Would you please talk about shotgun mics and just where their place is? You know, that idea that you can pick up from a distance type of.
You see that a lot, and it's funny. Like a videographer will show up with his camera all rigged out, and he's got the shotgun mic on top of it, and he's shooting a wide shot. It's like, well, you're capturing the sound that's right in front of the camera. You know,
okay.
Like, the mic needs to be where it is. Like when you see, if I could roll back quickly, this picture of Joel and Dave and I mean, there was many times where Dave, the sound guy, would ask me, "Where's the top of your frame?" And he'd put that mic right there. I mean, there's no magic formula other than get the mic as close to the person's mouth as possible, really, like you said.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problems. Yeah. I don't have much more to say beyond, and I would like to connect with you if you had specific questions about gear. I feel like this is just kind of getting your head around. You should be investing in equipment that works. I would privilege light and I would privilege sound above the camera itself, is the point I wanted to make.
Yeah, and the other thing with that too is also knowing whether or not you need a Ferrari or a Chevy truck.
Right.
You know, it's because the Ferrari is good in places and the truck's necessary in places, and they don't necessarily do the same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that being said, just getting started, I wouldn't even worry about gear. Like I say, you have a camera and a microphone, something that you can write your scripts, shoot your video, edit your video all in one. I would just start understanding the process that way. I was going to talk a little bit about editing software. This is an unending debate that we can have. It's not really worth it. Just know that, again, There are free apps that you can get on your phone and your computer that allow you to start editing. The more you want features, the more you're going to pay. Let me just quickly say a note on the process of video editing.
Can I just interrupt quickly?
Yeah.
Sorry. So when Luke talks about anything he uses, he actually gives a brand name, so that like someone like myself can go and research and say, hey, that looks like a really good thing. I know you would prefer not to, but could you just maybe share one or two names that would be at the top of your list, kind of idea?
For cameras, microphones, lights, or video software, or all the above?
Video editing and probably the lights.
Okay.
Be sure, sorry, just want to say quickly, be sure that they pay you any royalties for that.
That's right. You get your cut, Patrick, for endorsing them.
What? Yeah. I mean, that's a business model too, by the way, that you can explore as far as pump what equipment you're using in an influencer style, but that's down the road once people actually care what you're doing. If you're not opposed to buying Chinese made goods, there's a great brand called Neewer, N-E-E. I'll spell it for you. Neewer. And they make absolutely everything other than cameras. So lights, mics, stands, whatever you want. Check them out on Amazon if you're not against purchasing Chinese made goods.
So and they for the lights specifically, they're made for production.
Yes, very high. Actually, for what you pay, their CRI, I mean, that's as white a light as you could ask for. So
okay.
I own one Neewer light panel. Company I work for owns a whole fleet of them. They're perfectly fine. Battery powered is an option. That'd be the great place to start. A great place to start. Neewer has really never steered me wrong in anything I've ever bought from them. And they're on Amazon. Yeah, big time. Microphones, Rode is kind of the name. I did mention earlier, Rode, R-O-D-E, makes a mic, a lapel mic like you see here on Mansbridge, that actually records directly to a smartphone. So if you had two phones, you're shooting video with one phone, you're recording audio to a phone in the person's pocket. It's a great, pretty low cost way to get clean sound.
When would you feel that you would need that double recording, Patrick?
Again, it depends what you're doing, right? Like if you're trying to do something a little more polished and you're still shooting with a phone, you definitely are going to want a microphone on the.
Right. So you're capturing the video on one, and then you're integrating the audio on the video together on that. So
definitely would be synchronizing your video and sound after the fact.
Right. So then we're talking. Then there's going to be, and I'm not sure if even the knockoff cheap stuff that comes on, that's free open source software, if they can do that. So that's something else you have to pay attention as. And then so you don't have Chinese theater going on with it being out of sync is something else on top of that.
Right. Again, I can't speak to that, but I don't see why any editing software wouldn't allow you to have an audio video track. And it's just a clap. It's once you're ready, you roll the camera, roll the sound, clap, and you'll hear that clap on both tracks and you line them up.
Wait a minute. Just like this.
Oh,
action.
Oh, now you know.
I've been wanting to do that for a while. So.
Right. I'm glad it happened.
Okay, we're at, we should wrap this up, and then what we'll do is I'll just talk about some of the other stuff I have coming up, and then we'll do some questions. So is there anything else you want to finish off there before we kind of, before we get into the Q&A for you? Patrick?
If I could have one more minute, all I would say,
go ahead.
Video editing is both a solo pursuit and a collaborative effort. So it's something that it's a one-man job, but you have to be collaborative. Here's the process of editing video. Ingest the footage, organize the footage, watch that footage, watch everything you've shot. Start assembling it, cut something, watch it, tweak it, hate it, change it, give up, call it done, quit, start again, watch it, like it enough to show people, get feedback, incorporate that feedback, complete it, call it done. You never really finish a video, you just stop working on it. But be ready to just stop, okay? Be ready to take on that as a solo pursuit, but also you have to get feedback from your team, your followers, your fans, your parents, whatever.
And the reason why it's never done is because it's diminishing returns. You can keep tweaking it, but who's going to see it?
Exactly. Right. 3 simple considerations about video editing. White balance, okay? Things that are white should look white. Level your audio to around 0 decibels so people aren't bleeding out their ears. Play around with putting text on the screen to reinforce the points that are being made. Again, you could have a 12-week webinar on video editing. I just want you guys to understand that video editing is the funnest part of the process. In some weird ways, it's also the most maddening, but that's where the film is made, again. So just know that the potential is there to be as creative as possible, even with crappy footage.
And I'm going to say this, that if there's anything that people don't understand, it's the post-production that is so much time consuming, and that's where it makes or break the piece. And so when people say, just give me a video, you know, why can't I just have a video for $200? Well, you're missing out all the stuff that actually goes into it, because it's the post-production where it takes so long.
And it's the most labor intensive.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got. There's one more slide. I don't know what it is. Okay. Oh, whatever. That's pretty, it's cheesy. Be creative and try things. Set a budget of time and money and stick to it. Do consider hiring a part-timer or freelancer to help if you can. A lot of the times you can find someone who's decently familiarized with things. They have credentials and they can help you just as a shooter, just as an editor, just as a writer, whatever. Again, you can use your phone for the whole thing. Remember, again, the medium equals the message. Privilege content, privilege the story, privilege the information over technology. You could shoot it with a potato. I don't care. Tell me a good story. Put your audience first. Create, engage, drive traffic, tell a story. Now go do it.
Excellent. And did you have an offer for the audience?
It's not my style, but I would just say I would love to connect with all you guys individually. I would love to talk gear. I love to talk equipment. I do offer a consultation service. At this point, I'm offering 1 hour for $49.99. I'll talk anything video. I will get you started. And at that point, we could definitely talk about me and you collaborating on video projects as well. So again, I'm here. I want to meet people. I'm not too concerned about the money, but I want to help, and I'd love to talk. So that's about it.
Fantastic. Can I get
Thank
you
you,
to
Patrick. That was wonderful.
Yeah. Can I get you to stop sharing your screen, Patrick?
Okay.
So the other thing I do want to say about Patrick is that he knows, and we've heard that today in the talk, he knows where his wheelhouse is and where it's not. And if he can't help you, he'll be the first to tell you. But he knows, I think, he has great knowledge. I know he has great knowledge because I've been very impressed with the work. And he is my go-to person. He's the first one. He's the one that gets the first right of refusal for my work, because that's the type of relationship we have. So I would take him up on that offer, just to have that conversation and find out and more information on that, because the reason I work with him is that Patrick is here to serve, and he's here to make our lives better, and he's done that for me on many times. I'm just going to talk about. Yeah, please.
Yeah, I will have to leave, guys. I want to say thank you, Patrick, so much for the wonderful presentation. And I want to second as well the testimonial on your end as well, Luke, because Patrick and I, we've been doing some work together, and he is amazing, man. He goes above and beyond and put things in perspective for you. And I like that. And somebody that can push you and challenge you really to get things and to elevate things to the next level, especially as a work that you want to really be branded on. And somebody that is very worthy to work with. And Patrick is absolutely a wonderful guy. I cannot stress enough how great professional he is. And with that, guys, I had to leave. I will connect with you both later. Nick and Laura, always a pleasure as well to see you around, guys. And for everybody else new, we'll connect later on. And Luke, again, thank you so much for always offering great content.
Oh,
you're very
great
welcome.
content, absolutely.
Right.
Cheers, guys.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, so the only thing I was going to say, and I think pretty much everyone on the call that's still here knows this, so I'm not going to go into the videos coming up, just because you've seen the videos or you know about them. I am modifying the times. I did have them all this week, hoping I'd have better engagement, and actually I had worse engagement. So I didn't have, I actually ran no webinars all week because people either didn't show up or didn't sign up, or they did sign up and then they didn't show up. So I'm playing with where that is. And there is a few cities I'm going to drop because they're just not having the traction, but I have your email addresses, so I will be sending out those. And who here has been to my website and met Phil? You know, you have, yeah, okay, on that, yeah. So that's also something that's been I've been trying to work with and whatnot, and you know, I'm just trying to do a differentiator and set myself apart. So that's all I have to say, and now we're going to talk, Patrick gets to ask, you ask Patrick your questions, and we will stay on as long as there are questions. So Patrick doesn't know that, but he does now. So who would like to start with a question? Lori, you had several?
Yeah, so I only have really the two, and the first one is YouTube doesn't permit me to find out who's looking at my videos, who's watching. Now, if I put that video on LinkedIn, I will get that information. And the second thing is video editing software. There's lots out there, just one name, and that's it. Just because I'll tell you what it does for me. It helps me to have a base to start from. And then I can see the features and where a feature might not be. And then it's kind of like a semiotic web that leads me all over the place. But I need some place to start always.
So Patrick, you'll give you a recommendation, and then I'll tell you, then I'll give mine, and then we can, Laura could have two actually.
I've only ever truly worked on Avid Media Composer. My first day on the job, they said, here's Avid, go. So that's what it's been for 7 years. I love it. I also hate it, but look at Avid because it is fairly affordable. I'm paying only about $27 a month for it. I know that Adobe Premiere, its probably closest competitor, is closer to about $50 a month, I think.
What's that, Laura?
I was going to say, I do not like Adobe just because I have my own equipment and my own software. And just so everyone knows, Adobe is labor intensive. It has a lot of bugs in it, and very many known bugs. And I'm sorry, it is by far the worst. I do not support it at all. Other systems that might only take you 3 hours to do video editing, Adobe, because of all of its problems and labor intensive, you might triple your time.
Like there's things you can do on a computer that are as data intensive as video editing. Every video editor will fail at some point, every program.
I have some of the fastest and best equipment, and so that's never the issue. It's because I've used Adobe and know of its problems. And so I'll give you an example. Now, you probably don't use this software, but I use Camtasia, Articulate Storyline, Captivate, and Captivate is the Adobe, and I would not recommend it to anybody, just because I've used it intensively, and it has a lot of features, but with the high-end features come the bugs is the problem. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. 100%.
And I use Camtasia, and the main reason I use it is because if I call within their office hours, I almost never not reach someone. And Camtasia is not cheap. Camtasia is by no means, I think it's almost up there for the price that Adobe is, or Premiere. It's pushing on that. But I recall one day I was having an issue, and I think I lost an hour of my time trying to figure out why I could not read a video, why Camtasia would not show a video. And it turned out that what I converted it to was nothing it could read, and it was a quick phone call, and they said, oh yeah, you have to change this. But it says if I do that, it might lose it. Don't worry about it, it's gonna happen. So for me, it's worth paying to have someone on the phone that I can all say, what is going on here? And that's why I love Camtasia, because I'm very seldom, and they know how to talk to you. You know, there's that tech support that's not going way over your head. So
to that point too, Apple's Final Cut has good tech support too, I've heard, but I've never
Is that
used
right?
it. But an editor that I worked with for a couple of years, that's all she did, and she made good stuff. So
We are at an hour and a half in. If people want to sign off, totally understand that, and if they need to go. And so I just want to just say thank you all for coming here and being this. It's nice seeing you all show up after having no show up, no attendance throughout the week. So that feels kind of nice. And we will stay and answer more questions, but just if this is officially the end to it, and I'm going to stop live streaming right now.
Thanks so much, Luke. Take care and have a great weekend, everyone. Stay safe.
Take care, Nick.